Stevie Ray says, of all the people in that commentary position, Tony, Mike Tenay, and Stevie Ray, it's Stevie Ray that says, "Is there no fucking rules anymore?" Like you'd think he'd have been the fucking thickest out of that three group, but clearly not. He's clued up, Stevie Ray. And Tony says that since the 10th of April, when the new blood took over, they've relaxed all the rules in WCW. Wow, that fucking makes great television. Sting fires up now, and he does the Vader splash thing. He does that on Shane, quick as a cat, really fucking good. Then Shane punches Sting just before a Stinger splash, and then Conan runs to the ring. This is WCW 2000, ladies and gentlemen. Conan runs to the ring and takes Tori Wilshire and runs off with her. Then Jeff Jarrett comes to the ring with his guitar and smashes Sting across the head. Then there's a move called the Franchiser by Shane Douglas. The Franchiser. Never heard it before. But he has him like a rock bottom and just kind of drops. So Shane would go to his knees and Sting would go to his arse. I think Danny Goring did one in ECW called the bareback.
Oh, okay.
But it's not really Impact in any way. Be quite a nice move to take, to be fair. But it's called the Franchiser, and Shane Douglas wins. So that's 2 run-ins, no rules whatsoever. No count-outs or disqualifications in any fashion. In a normal match on Thunder on the 3rd of October in 2000. So this Sting versus Shane Douglas should have been better.
This would have been Vince Russo's fucking brainwave.
Got it written all over it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there we go then.
Meltzer would have loved it.
Well, I'm glad I didn't pick that one.
Terrible. Not their fault.
The next one, match 3, I've gone to EC Dub. And only because of his opponent, and I thought it might be quite decent, to be fair. So he's got Just Incredible in the singles.
Fabulous.
So starts with a Shane promo. And this would have been about the time. I don't know what year this is, but I'm guessing because Just Incredible was in fucking WWF, weren't he? As the Portuguese fucking Man of War dude.
Aldo Montoya.
That's the fucker. So what year was he there at then? Like he was there 96, weren't he? Like Justin in WWF. It would have been about 96, wouldn't it? But I'm guessing here he was quite new to ECW. I don't know. It's just the way he's kind of.
Shane was in the ECW from 96 to 99. So it would have been that period then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been that period. But I mean, Shane's like over as fuck, like real fucking a big name here at ECW. And I'm guessing Justin is like an underdog type thing. Might not have been there as that long. It's just from like I can tell by the crowd and the way the match plays out as well. Like no one's expecting Justin to like win, kind of thing. From where I was watching anyway. But so they do the Shane promo, and then as he's doing the promo, fucking Justin's there, and then next thing, boom, he fucking pops Justin, and there we go. We just fucking start trading off there, striking each other. Boom, 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 boom. Goes into a couple of snap suplexes by Douglas, and then a massive stalling suplex. Gets the 2 count on that one. Justin switches the whip. Justin switches the whip, then ducks his head, but fucking Shane gets him with a front face suplex, like Goldbuster, whatever it is, Starts the heat there, boom, 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 loads of heat on Justin. Loads of fucking chops by Justin. Fuck me. And they sound like fucking gunshots going off. They're not like little fuck me. It hurt. Like I was wincing watching the bastards. Real fucking it was horrible. yeah, so Justin's fighting back with some chops and stuff. Hang on. Yeah, Shane's back in the corner. I think later on in the match, I think it starts like fucking highlighting it. It's like not the full match because like there's a point in the match where Shane's in control, and then next thing I know, he's putting Justin on the table, like in the ring. So like it skipped a bit, and now next thing I know, Justin's on a fucking table, and then fucking Shane gets thrown off. Like Shane goes to the top to jump on Justin. Justin's off, and then fucking Shane gets thrown through the table. There's other people involved at this point. Fucking obviously Francine's there with Shane, and there's another like woman who I don't know who is. I didn't catch her name, but she didn't look.
With Shane.
No,
because there was what's her name? What the fucking hell was her name? With was it Dawn Marie with Lance Storm and Just Incredible?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, Dawn Marie. Yeah, it wasn't her though. There was somebody. I don't know if this woman was with Justin or just there causing shit for Francine and that. But there's another woman there anyway. Fucking Shane gets thrown off the ropes through the table. I think it was Justin that threw him. I don't think anybody else. I think it was Justin threw him through there. And then there's fucking more chops by Justin. Boom, boom, fucking gunshots going off everywhere. It's fucking hell. They're right loud. These fucking chops. Then there's a up and over by Justin out the corner. Then a super kick. Bam. I'm trying to read my fucking Japanese right now. Oh yeah, then they're outside the ring, and Shane gets dropped fucking head first on the railing. I didn't see the actual fucking collision, but he's busted wide open, blood fucking spewing out everywhere. Back and forth, fucking beating the shit out of each other. Really, there's a low blow by Justin at one point. Then sets the table up in the corner. And then there's a bit of a sequence where they're trying to get the better of each other, trying to get them through the table, which ends up with Shane Douglas gorilla pressing him and fucking slamming him through the table. So Justin's fucking gone through there. Here we go. Then there's a woman and Francine fucking going at it. And then they fucking roll out the ring. Yeah, I don't know who that woman is. Like, the quality wasn't that great, and I don't even think they mentioned her name, so fuck knows who it was. But anyway, and then there's then they've got kendo sticks, Justin and Shane. So now they're having like now it's turning into like a fucking, Karate Kid situation.
A duel.
Because then there's like a fucking, like an actual fucking fight with the kendo sticks. Boom, 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 boom. And then fucking, yeah. And then literally just at the end of this fucking like kendo stick off type situation, Shane wins with this fucking, the cradle suplex thing that he done. But yeah, it was a decent match actually. Like there was like weapons towards the end, and then there was outside shit going in, but not too much to fucking, put me off.
It was late 90s Extreme Championship Wrestling, and it still made more sense than the year 2000 fucking WCW Thunder.
Well, yeah, that's not a surprise, but it was like 2000 WCW was Russo, wasn't it? Because he went, it would have been like 99, I'm guessing he went 99, 2000.
Fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah, but
my last one was my favourite, and it shouldn't have been because it's from a fucking field in the middle of fucking West Virginia. September the 29th, 2013, Mega Pro Wrestling from Miami, West Virginia. It's quite literally a field. There's probably 50 people and some trees. And it's Shane Douglas versus Eric Darkstorm. I chose this because I met Eric Darkstorm when I wrestled in Kentucky, and it was really cool. He was like, this is several years before this, though. So this is like maybe 8 years before this. 6, 8 years before this, but he was cool. There's a Shane Douglas promo at the start saying about he was a last minute substitute. Somebody dropped out, and then he got a phone call saying, "I've got a booking for you in Miami," and he was like, "Oh, I love the sunshine." And they went, "No, not Miami, Florida, Miami, West Virginia." Oh shit! And then he says that he's from Pittsburgh and the list of champions. Bruno and Kurt Angle, and he's on the list. Saying he's got no hope in a place like this when he's from a proper town. Blah blah blah. General fucking heel heat, and it's getting him over. Darkstorm comes in. They clearly know who Darkstorm is because he gets a good pop. They do the yeah boo start, and Shane goes, "You're a great kid, but I'm a legend." And then he fucking goes for the boo, and it's pretty cool. There's the arms stuff at the start, exchanging a few times. Shane Douglas has got a fucking like an arm bar on, and he goes, "You don't see this on TV anymore." That's just popped me. Then some nice stuff like wrestling, like a body tackle, and Shane goes out and has a walk. When he comes back in, it's straight into the heel stuff. You know what I mean? It started off wrestling with him just mouthing heel. It's kind of told a story as you go along that he's got more pissed off with this young kid that's getting the better of him. He likes to take a body tackle, Shane Douglas. Like the old timers, there's a bump that they like to take, and clearly a body tackle is Shane Douglas's bump of choice. It's pretty safe, isn't it? You can't go wrong, can you? You're taking your own bump, aren't you? You're not getting bumped. You're doing the bump. So I understand that. I get that. Darkstorm fires up, fucking post Shane, meets the boot, bosh. Out the ring goes Darkstorm. Shane goes out, fucking, he gets hit with a bin, boink. Shane fires up on the out. Sorry, Darkstorm fires up outside the ring, and this is right cool because he fucking punches him, and Shane Douglas makes himself near the apron, and then Darkstorm bangs his head off the apron like 10 times right the way along the fucking ring. It's like doing, 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 doing. It's brilliant. Apart from that, Shane Douglas cuts him off. Back to the heel stuff then. Darkstorm at some point with the boot in the corner, boink. Super kick to Shane. He gets the 2 out of that. Darkstorm with a slam. He goes to the top rope. And then another heel comes and tries to knock Darkstorm off, but he kicks him off the apron. Bonk. Shane goes to flare him off. But just as he flares him off, Darkstorm kind of turns himself and rolls Shane Douglas into a small package, and Darkstorm's over. Which, it was a brilliant match in the middle of nowhere, in a field, in front of not many people. It was my favourite of the 4. Really good.
Yeah.
Very glad I chose it because there's lots of stuff on, from more recent years. I know 2013 is not that recent, really, when you think about it, but when you think about the career of Shane Douglas, 2013 wouldn't be the year you pick, would it? But I wanted to do something recent times. And I'm glad I picked this one because there's lots of stuff on YouTube, but of people that I don't know. And because I met Darkstorm, he was really cool when I met him. Yeah, good one.
All right, well, my last one is from it's from 2000 WCW. But I'm guessing it was a lot better than the fucking shit you watched because it wasn't that bad, to be fair. It was like, and Shane Douglas in 2000 WCW, I actually thought he was all right. I thought he'd done himself. Like he was in that group, weren't he? With fucking, there was a feud. They feuded with the Filthy Animals. I think there was fucking Saturn was in them. It's kind of like the Radicals and WF, just not like the same members.
Yeah, they had another. Is it Revolution or something?
That's the fucker. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name earlier. Yeah, that's the one. Revolution. I think Saturn was in there, and there was another 2 members. I can't, but I know they feuded with the.
I'm not the biggest WCW 2000 aficionado.
No,
It wasn't something that I watched greatly at that period because I think even then I knew it was bollocks.
Yeah, it was.
I think I'd have rather fucking Bravo's ECW than WCW of 2000.
I think out of all the main like major promotions throughout the years from the fucking beginning of time or whatever, whenever fucking you know WCW 2000 2001 is like the worst. Like you don't get worse. Like as far as a big company goes, I can't. I think the WWF's worst days can't compete with the fucking shit that WCW was putting on. Fucking awful. It was fucking. I remember even I was about 16, 17. So I wasn't fucking that knowledgeable back then about what's going on. And I just remember watching Nitro every week thinking, like, are they serious? You had every fucking idiot, like, fucking telling these guys what to do or whatever, but like, they were heel 1 second. I remember Bret Hart had about fucking 12 heel turns in fucking 99. Like you didn't know what the fuck he was, you know what I mean? And it's like I remember watching it as a fan thinking, what is this? Like
Really confused by who the fuck was in charge as well. Like there was like 14 commissioners.
yeah.
Was it
Yeah, yeah.
Ernest Miller, fucking Ric Flair, Hogan, anyone else that got in the way? They were all fucking commissioners.
Yeah, it was fucking shit.
Some woman, Bischoff himself, fucking every company was in charge. You
Yeah.
know, who are we believing here?
Yeah.
Mike Sanders, he was one, wasn't he?
Yeah. And then they had the fucking then they created the new NWO, like the silver and black, with like Jarrett, Nash, Steiner, and Brett, I think. Like, what the fuck is the end of they got to do with the NWO? Like, and then even like I think just before that they had fucking Stevie Ray, fucking Vincent, and Scott Norton, like another NWO just before the silver and black. It was like, what is going on here? Like, you know what I mean? It was fucking, and then you wonder why they didn't last. And then they were paying people not to be on the fucking show. Like even
Yeah.
you know,
Paying the good talent to stay at home.
yeah. Well, there was that fucking story about the Iron Sheik, wasn't there? When like they were fucking
Got fucking cancel him, like.
yeah, they do it. They've done shit like that for years, like though. But I mean, no, Russo was bad for like shit
Yeah,
though.
Danny Poffo, and they used him once on a dark match, and that was it.
Fucking hell.
I don't it.
Yeah, I don't like the money they fucking squandered was just like I've just seen so many shoots when people were like, how could they even fucking run like a company like that? And I guess like when there was a point when like Russo and Bischoff were running it, weren't they? They were like doing it together, I think. And like the whole thing with Bischoff as well was like I've said all along, it wasn't like his money, was it? So
Nah,
realistically, he could
nah.
afford to make a few fucking boo boos because it's
It
not
don't
coming
fucking
out.
matter, does it?
Yeah, like
No.
if that was fucking my money, I'd make sure that fucking I
Yeah.
wasn't paying any fucking.
It is Vince's money, hence the reason he looks after it better.
Yeah, no. So anyway, yeah. This was against Chris Harris. Um, but I read it wrong actually, and I thought it was gonna be. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be. I just fucking clicked it on, and I thought it was gonna be one of the fucking Harris twins, Ron and Don, because they were there at the time, weren't they?
Yeah,
But
were they the powers that be?
that's the fucker, something like yeah. Um,
They were
so,
Russo's fucking henchmen, weren't they? Like,
yeah. So I thought it was one of them, but I didn't read it properly. But anyway, it's Chris Harris. I don't really know Chris Harris to be fair, but
Chris Harris was in a tag team in, is it America's Most Wanted or fucking something like that in TNA?
oh yeah, that rings a bell.
Is it them or is it America's Most Wanted or Beer Money? One or the other.
I think it was America's Most Wanted because Beer Money was Bobby Roode and that other dude.
James Storm.
That's the fucker, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was just Chris Harris and so anyway, I did put down here terrible time in WCW, but I actually like Shane Douglas round about this time. Douglas starts with a promo slating slating the wall, like the big dude, slagging him off. So they must have had some beef over something. Douglas is all over fucking this Chris Harris, fucking all over him. There's a couple of snap suplexes in the stalling suplex spot. Harris keeps trying to fight back, but fucking gets hit with a power slam. Couple drop kicks by fucking Douglas. Then he gives him a clothesline over the top. Fucking they go to the outside, starts beating him around. And I think fucking the spot you mentioned earlier, that fucking outdoor thing where he's ramming his head along the apron on the outside. Yeah, they do that spot here. Because I remember looking and thinking I'd never seen that before. So they're doing that as well, like on the outside there. Throws Douglas into the railing. Crossbody from the top when they're back in for the 2 count for Harris. Harris all on him now. Saw Harris for a little while. And then all of a sudden he ducks his head for like a backdrop or something, then hits him with the cradle suplex. It was generally one-sided, but towards the end Harris was getting a bit in here and there. But it was a good match though, I thought. It was simple. Nothing really a lot to it. They went to the outside, came back in that. Not really a lot to say, but I can't really fault it. But I mean, WCW this time was fucking rotten. So this was probably fucking main event caliber, considering like some of the shit they'd fucking had to put this on last, to be fair. Like, considering some of the shit they had on. But yeah, that was
you got away with the match for that fucking 4 run-ins and 17 guitar shots.
I was expecting some fucking run-ins, to be fair, but
reaching the wall, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but no, but it was all right actually. I still think maybe the first one was my favorite, the one with Bravo, but I can't really fault any of them. None of them, I didn't think any of them were shit.
No, I mean, the Sting thing for me was shit, but like I said, it's not their fault. You can't knock Sting or fucking Shane Douglas for being put in that situation. You just got to do what you got to do, ain't you? Do what you're told, like.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Wednesday, we're going to Detroit.
We are. I'm going to watch mine tomorrow.
Yeah. I've already seen mine.
Yeah.
Strange times. And then Samoan tag teams Friday.
Yeah.
We travel in the world from the comfort of our living rooms. Have you got a singles pick for next week?
I have. You'll fucking love it. Shall I announce the situation? Are you ready for this shit? Are you sitting down? Yeah, you sitting down. Well, I'm gonna go with the one and only Don Morocco.
Don Morocco is a fine choice. It wasn't what I was expecting, to be fair. Huh? We've discussed quite a few people this week, sort of in a message fashion, and I was thinking 1 or 2 have cropped up quite a lot, or you've put over quite a lot, and I thought, oh, that could be this week's.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't. Don Morocco's a good one. Have you seen